There's not many in the room today, so if you have a question, we'll get underway. We'll go with Andrew.
Recording in progress.
Thanks, Cole. Hey, Andrew. Just start by looking back on last night. How much of that finish was the bowlers being a little off in that last 3 overs, and how much was it just a fantastic innings from Shanaka?
Yeah, it's always, we believe it's always a combination of both, but Shanaka's innings was amazing. When we missed, he struck. There's a couple of areas that we could definitely tidy up, there's no doubt about that, but when you get put under that type of pressure, sometimes your error ratings go up a little bit. So, we didn't quite execute as well as what we may have hoped to in that situation, but full credit. An innings of that quality deserves the result that it got, and it was a great game. Crowd was amazing, and unfortunately we were on the wrong side of that. So plenty of opportunities to learn from those types of situations. But as I said, full credit to Sri Lanka in the way that they played and closed out that game.
Just to throw ahead to the five ODIs, I know there's a couple of injuries around the squad, but by and large it's the first time you've had what might be termed a first choice squad, barring Zamps, with you for one-day cricket for quite some time. Have you spoken as a group about how you want to play one-day cricket now, looking forward to next year's World Cup? Is there much that you think anything needs to change, or are you fairly happy with how the one-day side is tracking?
Yeah, well, as you said, we haven't played a lot of one-day cricket, so the build towards 2023 is really, really important. So, we feel as though we've got some really good plans in place to play a few different ways come 2023. You never know what personnel is going to be available, who's going to be injured at that time. You've got to cover all bases. So it's about building our capabilities in certain areas, making sure that we don't leave ourselves short, but also concentrating on winning games of cricket, which is important. We have had discussions. Clearly, conditions in India are going to be slightly different to what we encounter here. Traditionally, lower scoring games here compared to India, so it'll be a different style of cricket. But definitely looking forward, making sure that we're building our capabilities in the areas that we want to, and we feel as though we've got a pretty good handle on where we want it to all end up come 2023. And now it's about stepping through that as we go. But most importantly, we've got games of cricket to win that are in front of us in the immediate future, so we will never disregard that.
Cheers, Andrew.
Louis.
Andrew, you've obviously got a pretty much full strength team over here, but this whole block of one-day games, including the stuff when you go back to Australia, do you almost look at these ones as setting a benchmark for who's in your best team, and then maybe those ones back home you might see some new faces? It's well sort of documented around the Future Tours program and making sure that we're targeting the priorities when they need to be targeted, and we've got a World Cup coming up as well in T20, so it's finding that balance. As I said, getting game time into people coming into 2023, but also making sure that they're fresh and capable to do the job at hand. So there's a balance there, but it's great to have everyone on deck, or almost everyone. Obviously Zamps, congratulations to Zamp as well, who's had a baby recently, so he's unfortunately not here but spending some time at home, so we're almost at full strength, which is great. Clearly we've got a couple of niggles and injuries as well that doesn't put us at full strength with Mitch Marsh and Mitchell Stark, but it's exciting to get the group together to start that build. But as I said, first and foremost is games of cricket to win in the immediate future. What's been the message to Travis Head, Andrew? Obviously I think he's averaging 60 in one-day cricket over the last 12 months. He hasn't done too much wrong. What do you say to a guy like him for this format?
He's pushing hard for selection. He got an opportunity in Pakistan and took that, with some brilliant ball striking, which was seen by all. So Davey comes back into that spot. Obviously Steve Smith comes back in as well. So there's two big inclusions. So he sort of has to bide his time at the moment, and we see the opportunity for him to get some really good match opportunities within that A game at Hambantota, building into the Test series. So that's equally as important as well, his exposure to subcontinent conditions. So that's been the messaging. The guys that are on deck over here, we prefer to see them playing than running drinks, and it's a fortuitous position where we've got the A team here as well, so we can send Trav off to get some game time, unavailable for the first two, and then we'll reassess first two one-day internationals, and then we'll reassess after that what it looks like. So we're not saying that he won't play any part in the one-day international series. It's just an opportunity for him to get some game time, 4-day cricket leading into that all-important Test series down the road.
Dan Bredig.
G'day, Andrew. Just a question about, or following on Louis there about Travis. You mentioned the first couple of one-day games. Are there any other players that you and the selectors are kind of looking at potentially to play a first-class game or red ball game before the Test series, depending on how it goes in the one-day series?
Yeah, there is. It's shifted in terms of having a couple of injuries, so it's changed our initial thinking and initial planning, which always happens. So your best laid plans shift due to injuries and unfortunate circumstances. So there is some design to make sure that our players are playing cricket when they're over here, whether that be in that A series or whether that be here in the one-day internationals. As I said to Louis earlier there, it's about making sure that we haven't got people sitting on the bench, 2 or 3 deep in that skill set and just lingering around running drinks. We don't see that as a benefit to anyone. So we'll sit down. Obviously, we've got a clear checkpoint after the second one-day international, which lines up nicely with that second A game and the last 3 one-day internationals back in Colombo. So we'll just assess that as we go. We're open-minded to what that opportunity looks like for each individual, but first and foremost, we're picking the best team in the one-day internationals to go out there and win games of cricket.
And would you, I'm thinking specifically of someone like Mitch Swepson, would you want him to get some red ball overs in a match scenario before the Test matches, or is it a situation where you're sort of confident he can get that bowling in, whether it's nets or in a game?
Yeah, we're confident that he can get the bowling in. We're confident in our coaching staff to be able to prepare the players, whether it be through a match opportunity or whether it through scenario training. And he may get the opportunity to play in the one-day international. So competitive cricket's always a benefit. And you've seen sort of over the last sort of 12 months that we haven't always had match opportunities in leading to series. I think you saw leading into the Ashes, we didn't play a fully fledged practice game leading into that. We backed ourselves to get the training in amongst that quarantine block, and we've got a fair bit of time before the first Test match here. So there'll be a bit of hybrid training going on in terms of red ball, white ball in and around the one-day internationals to make sure that we're fully prepared. And it's something that the players are used to, shifting formats. So we're confident that whether it be a match opportunity with Australia A or whether it be here in the one-day internationals, that we'll be able to get the players prepared the best we can to take that opportunity come the first Test match if they get given that.
And just one more from me on the 2020 side of things. Obviously, the team has had a pretty successful formula for chasing at the World Cup last year and in some of your bilateral games since. So, the losses to Sri Lanka you've had in these last 2 series have been when you've been defending a target. Those 2 experiences, I know one was in Melbourne and one was in Kandy, but can you draw a through line at all through those and I suppose learnings where, say, if you get into a World Cup scenario and you have to defend a target, you'll be better placed?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the sort of small reviews that we had last night with individuals, if you had your time again, you would have taken some different options at different times. So it's about, when you get given that opportunity again, get put in that situation again, what options will you take? And we felt we got a little bit one-dimensional at certain periods there and a little bit too predictable and probably went away from what made us really good in the first 2 games, albeit we weren't defending a total in those first 2 games. So scenario is slightly different, but we feel as though that pressure or perceived pressure probably took us away at times from what made us really good. So it's about committing to your strengths. Can't join the dots on 2 games. I think we've been really, really good over a period of time, and even last night you could argue that for 34 overs of that match. That we're playing really, really good cricket, which is the encouraging sign, and we've got some personnel that are getting exposed to different situations, which is always a positive with a couple of guys out injured.
Thank you.
Nasha.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. Andrew, I just wanted to check on the status of Cam Green's bowling heading into the one-day series. Noticed he didn't bowl anything for the A team the other day when he played. I mean, how are you going to use him if he gets in the 11?
Yeah, at the moment, he won't be bowling in the first couple of games. He won't be available to bowl in the first couple of games. So he's just a fraction behind where we would like him to be. We'll go probably on the conservative side there. So, the second half of the 3 games back in Colombo, we feel as though he'll be well positioned to fulfil his full capabilities in being an all-rounder. That's where we sit at the moment with him and his bowling. If he was given, he can still play as a batter. So we haven't had selection yet. We'll do that this afternoon. Wait for Finchy to get up, assess, have a look at the wicket out here. We're just at training at the moment for a few guys that haven't had much game time. we'll just assess that. As I said, we're not dismissing the fact that Cameron can play as a bat. We saw that he batted really well in that A game and got 100. So.
And do you suspect that all 5 ODIs for any of the specialist quicks, particularly Josh or Pat, will be in the test mix, or Pat especially, that might be a bit too much to play all 5 ODIs?
Yeah, initial thinking, yeah. I think it's going to be tough. Short turnarounds. I think even if there wasn't a test series on the back of it, it would still be very difficult to go through those 5 games being so close together. So yeah, we're all about making sure that our players are ready to perform. Just not fit for selection, but ready to perform as well. So yeah, there's no doubt that the congested nature of these white ball games would press us in that area.
Thanks, Andy.
Last one here, guys. Back to Louis.
Yeah, just picking up on what you said there about Cameron Green and his bowling, Andrew. I mean, is his bowling in particularly important, given you have said 3 spinners in the test might be important. That kind of adds to his importance as a bowler for the test team. Like, you have to really look after him.
I think we take the same management process with most of our quicks. So as I said, he's fractionally underdone at the moment. So therefore, we're not going to risk that. And he's not far off. We're talking basically a week or so just to build that up. He's had a bit of a compromised prep, so we're on the side of caution around that one. But yeah, he's important. That all-round capability gives you flexibility to, as you said, potentially pick 3 spinners. Not sure which way we'll land. We'll wait till we get to Gaul. But yeah, his bowling is important to this team, and we've seen that in Pakistan. We've seen that in the Ashes series. So it's important that we manage him along with the rest of our fast bowling group when they're fit and available. They're a very good combination. So yeah, we want to protect that the best we can.
Thanks, Louis, and thanks everyone for joining us today. And we'll catch up with all of you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks,
Recording
everyone.
stopped.
Thanks.